Hello, today's presentation is going to be on the criminal justice hiring process. Are you prepared? My name is Lionel Santiago, and I am the lead affiliate faculty for criminal justice and security management at Southwestern College Professional Studies. Today, we're going to cover career research and agency research, conducting a self-assessment, the application process, the importance of physical fitness, the interview, the polygraph, and the police academy. One of the most important things that you can do once you decide that criminal justice is going to be your career is to what area of criminal justice interests you. There are many different areas of criminal justice. There are areas in the federal system and state and at the local level. So is it going to be law enforcement, corrections, or probations? Also, it's important that you, as you are conducting your research, to look at the differences in salary, the benefits, advancement opportunities, pensions, and so forth. That will also be help you and assist you in deciding what career area you may want to go on. Once you have concluded the career research, it is important now that you focus on what specific agency that you are interested in, whether it be at the federal, state, or local level, and narrow your search to a particular regional area. Also, again, focus on the salaries, the pension, the healthcare benefits, and so forth. That will help you make that decision. Another part that I believe is also important is the actual reputation of the agency. So take that in consideration as you're conducting your research. The economic health of the government. Let's say, for example, that you're interested in a local agency, and that local government has had some difficulties in the past with their finances. So you may want to take that in consideration. Also, another key indicator of the professionalism of the agency is to really look at and observe their recruiting function. If their recruiting function is organized and well processed and well formulated, and their recruiters are sharp, I guess, for lack of a better word, that is really a key indicator as to the professionalism of the agency. Now, one of the things that we want to do when we go into this career is really conduct a self-assessment. One of the most important steps you can undertake to improve your chances is to ask yourself, are you a competitive applicant? And what steps are you taking to become the best candidate possible? So you've conducted your research, you've asked yourself, you know that the particular agency that you're interested in, you know the minimum requirements, you are aware of those, you are aware of some of the preferred requirements. Do you have those requirements? And what steps are you taking, you've taken in the past, are currently taking, and will take in the future to become the best candidate possible? So what do you mean by being a competitive applicant? When we ask ourselves, am I a competitive applicant? This is what we're talking about. We're talking about a myriad of points. One is education and your grade point average. If you were to tell me that you have a bachelor's degree in criminal justice, but your grade point average, that's great. We love people that have degrees and college credits and so forth. But if your grade point average in criminal justice is 1.75, for example, perhaps you may want to consider getting that up before you go further on in your path. It's something that recruiters kind of take a look at. So we want to know how seriously you're taking your career, quite frankly. If you have professional or military experience, that's also very important to us, and we definitely look at that. If you have a past prior law enforcement certification and also professional certifications. Also, community service is something that is very important to us. Obviously, your criminal history and your driving and drug history, excuse me, is important. Let me give you this analogy. If I have two identical candidates, they both have a clean drug history. They both have a clean criminal history. They both have bachelor's degrees. Just excellent candidates. They're a clone of each other. However, the only difference between the two candidates is that one candidate has a significant driving history. Everything else being equal, we're obviously going to gravitate towards the candidate that does not have the driving history. So I hope this example is helpful for you. Physical fitness is also very important in law enforcement. So if you're not physically fit, you need to start yesterday. If you're considering applying for a law enforcement academy or for a law enforcement agency, I can't think of any law enforcement agency in the country that does not take physical fitness seriously. Also, if you have attended a law enforcement academy in the past or have recently graduated from one, we are going to look at your physical and academic performance at that academy. Now, the application process. It is important, I know it goes without saying, but it's very, very important that you read and follow all instructions. In our line of work, we have to follow instructions. And if we don't follow instructions, then things can go sideways very, very quickly. So at the very basic level, at the application process, when you're starting your law enforcement career, please read and follow all instructions. It's also important that you are prepared and you need to have all the information available, all your personal and military documents, your college transcripts, your employment information. You need to have all that information available. If you had any traffic citation, auto accidents in the past, if for some reason you can't remember, well, you need to perhaps pull your driving record and have all that documentation already with you. Your references, your prior residences. If you've been disciplined or terminated from an employer, you need to have that information and the circumstances behind that available. Obviously, we ask for all of these things in the application process, and we also ask you about your criminal history, your drug history, and also your credit history. It's very important for us to have that information. Some applications give you the opportunity to write a letter to the chief or the sheriff or the recruiting board as to why you want to be a law enforcement officer. So make sure you take the opportunity to read that letter. We want to get a sense of how you communicate in writing and also the contents of that. Going back a little bit to physical fitness, again, it's a very important part of the focus area for all recruiters. If you're not physically fit at the time of application, I would suggest that you do not apply, that you take your time to get physically fit, mentally and physically fit for this career. Most agencies have some sort of physical fitness standard, whether it be a run, push-ups, and a sit-ups. Different agencies may differ on that. And they may have, for example, the run may be a 2-mile run or a 1.5-mile run for a particular time frame, or perhaps it's 25 or 30 push-ups for every a minute or so. Make sure that you research those standards and that you not only meet but also excel those minimum requirements, because it is just not enough to just meet those minimum requirements. Remember, it's important to understand that there are literally hundreds, perhaps even thousands of people in applying for a particular agency, especially some of those agencies in metropolitan areas. So the minimum requirements, just meeting those may not be enough. You need to train to excel. And remember that in a competitive process, first impressions count. So you want to go out there and give it your all the first time around. And don't give any recruiters a reason to disqualify you. If you know that you're going into this field, you know that it's going to be in law enforcement, for example, and you know that in 6 months or so, you're going to start the application process and you're really not there physically, then you need to start, because mindset is everything. Now, a little bit about the interview process. It goes without saying, but please conduct research on the actual agency, because they may ask you a question about, what has been going on in the agency lately. It's also important for you to bring up some initiatives that the agency has brought forth in the past in the interview, because it shows that you're actually engaged and you have done some of that research in the agency. Always, always, always show up on time to the interview. There's a saying that early is on time and on time is late. And always, of course, dress professionally. I know it goes without saying, but this is also very, very, very important. During the interview questions, answer the questions thoroughly and market yourself. If the question is a yes or no question, say yes or say no, and then expand on that. Show them, expand on those questions and why you believe what you believe. And the more you expand, the more you have the opportunity to market yourself. And the recruiting staff or the selection board is getting a gauge on who you really are. Also, it's very important to maintain eye contact. I can't emphasize this enough. Nonverbal communication is very important. Of course, be prepared and also be excited. We want you to be excited. We recognize that you are nervous, but we want you to be excited about this opportunity. A little bit about the polygraph. I know it goes without saying, but tell the truth. It is absolutely imperative that you tell the truth. When it comes to criminal justice, a key part of our discipline is ethics. And we must always, always, always tell the truth. So tell the truth. Do not try to use countermeasures, because the polygraphers or the persons administering the polygraph or the voice stress analysis test, they are trained to detect those countermeasures. And it's also important to recognize that it's not necessarily what you did, but what you did not say. Let me give you an example. Let's just say that you were 17 years old and you went to a party and you smoked marijuana twice, but you are now 26 or 27. You have graduated from college. You've perhaps been in the military. No problems with the law, honorable discharge. You have a bachelor's degree from Southwestern College, and you're nervous. And let's just say that you did not put that in your application, that you did not use marijuana when you were 17. Well, that information is going to come back in the polygraph. So normally, if you would have said, yes, I used marijuana when I was 17 twice, and you're now 26 or 27, a significant amount of time has passed. You've had a clean record. You've never been arrested. You're definitely a competitive applicant. Generally, we really technically perhaps may overlook all of that, but you didn't say it in the application. So that may be a problem, and it may hurt your chances of moving forward. Also, it's important to note that agencies regularly ask other agency for other agency records. So if you perhaps apply for another agency and you had an inconclusive polygraph in another agency, and you are now applying for your current agency, that agency 9 times out of 10, I would say that they would know exactly what happened at that polygraph and the reasons why that polygraph was inconclusive. So please tell the truth. A little bit about the police academy. It is obviously a police academy certification. A law enforcement certification will make you more competitive in the process. But if you do not have that certification yet, if you're not certified by the state, it's important that you research academies and public safety training centers, because they're not all the same. So it's also important that you take a good, strong look and you look at your local area as to which academy you want to attend. And also apply early. There's usually a 3 to 6 month waiting list when it comes to the police academy. Now, the police academy, there's several ways that you can attend the police academy. You can be sponsored. You may ask, what does that mean? Well, some agencies actually, once you're hired, they will put you through the police academy. So you're in a sponsorship per se, and they will pay you an hourly wage. If you do not get a sponsorship, let's say, for example, you want to attend the academy on your own, then, and if you're a military veteran, the post 9/11 GI Bill will also pay for that police academy. So that's also important for you to know. Also remember that you are constantly being evaluated while you're attending the police academy. Trust me when I tell you that not only are the instructors evaluating you, but recruiters come and they watch all the recruit classes, and the recruiters will also interview the instructors as to the performance of a particular recruit that they are interested in. So the academic and physical performance is very, very important. Also, please don't be absent and don't be late, because again, earlier is on time and on time is late. All these things we really, really take a look at. So do you have what it takes to become a law enforcement officer or probation or a corrections officer? Do you have what it takes? If you do, please take a look at our program. You can find more information on our criminal justice program on the website, or you can also call our admission counselors and they'll be happy to assist you. I wish you the best of luck. Take care and be safe.